If it's a day called today, we're talking guitars and life. Well, welcome back, my friends, to another episode of Ted Talks Guitars and Life. Well, a little something different today. Something we've never done before on the channel. This will very much be in the spirit of exploration. So, yeah, come on the journey with me, man. It ought to be a good time. Well, you are looking at one Washburn Sonomaster guitar that came into the shop with 3 significant dents. Well, really 2 significant dents. One dent that the third one maybe you'd have to be a little microscopic to see. However, I think when I show you some close-ups, you'll see it immediately. So I've been doing a little bit of research. I appreciated everybody's thoughts and comments about how to get dents out of a guitar. You know, damp cloth, soldering iron, damp cloth, iron, CA glue with some color, etc., etc. However, I've opted to go a different way. If you hang on the channel, that's not news to you. Oh, by the way, hey, if it's your first time hanging out, welcome. Come back anytime and hang out at Ted Talks Guitars and Life. We always have a great time and some great folks in the comments who know so much more about all of this than I do, just sharing our journeys with guitars and life. So we've got 3 dents on this guitar body. We have a bottle of dark cherry fingernail polish. We have a UV flashlight and a pair of UV sunglasses that will come in super handy in just a moment as I take you on the journey with me. Let me get you in here. We'll take a peek at what's going on. This particular dent is the most obscene offender. You could see that probably from space. I didn't need to zoom in on that one. We have another dent. This is our second dent. And like the first one, you can tell that it's lost some color around the edges. I haven't sandpapered or anything like that. I'm just observing the raw experience with you. The last dent is on a different part of the guitar. Let me get you over there. This particular dent is kind of a circle, and again you can see the discoloration around and these amazing scrapes and scratches on this guitar already. That's just me throwing them around on the bench, man. But anyway, so what we're going to do today in this video is we are going to attempt to do some dent repair using this UV gel polish that I got on the Zon, thus the UV flashlight and the UV sunglasses. Guys, I don't want to be prescriptive to anything that you do. In all things you do you, man. This is just a description of my journey, not prescriptive for you. This is a UV flashlight. You do not want to look into it when it is turned on. You want to use UV sunglasses anytime you use the UV flashlight, and you never want to look directly into the light. Okay, that said, spoiler alert, sidebar, this is dark cherry. And the reason that I got the UV gel polish, so normal nail polish dries fairly quickly. And I watched a couple of vids of guys using fingernail polish, and it was drying almost as soon as they were putting it on, and it was causing them some difficulty. This polish is not going to dry unless I apply the UV light to it. So what I'm going to attempt to do, I'm going to pick one of these dents. I figure we'll start with the worst offender maybe first. And then I thought maybe we'll go over here to the easiest one. I'm going to flip a coin, I guess, a 3-sided coin in a minute, and pick one. But I thought the first thing we do is that we would test this nail polish out on a board that is covered with paint and a little bit of clear coat to kind of simulate what it might do when it hits this clear coat. Although this doesn't seem to be heavily polyed, it's not a very durable kind of a finish. Clearly you saw all the scratches, and I was kind of tongue-in-cheek when I said I'd been throwing on the bench. I'm typically very careful with my instruments. Yeah. So then I have a bare piece of wood here that I thought we would just look at what the color does. So wanted to be kind of a color test we'll do first, and then we'll put the flashlight on it and see what it looks like when it dries. My understanding is you want 2 very thin coats and then apply the UV light for 1 minute and see what happens. So yeah, let me grab my chair, sit down for a spell, and we'll get into it. Okay, I have decided that I'm gonna get a little bowl apparatus here and try to create a little bit of a, in hindsight, shaking that bottle was not a good plan because it got the edge of this stick all wet. So probably not the best plan. I had to do that. All right. I'm trying to be very kind of sparing with it. Now, will this be sandable when we're done? Guys, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and do the other ones. In theory, the gel is not going to dry, my understanding, without the UV light. So I might as well take advantage of that. Feature. I just don't need a whole lot over here. This is this barely. One, I'm just trying to get color in that hole on the outline of that dent right there. Wrong flashlight. Ah. Guys, this seems like a good opportunity to say nothing I do is prescriptive for you, just descriptive of my brand of crazy. So please don't do what I'm doing. unless you want to. You do you. By the way, I'm not looking at the light. I'm looking at the monitor over here. If I turn out the light, you could tell that that is a... If you were to look at the nail polish with this light on it, then what you would see is that the polish is hardening because of the UV light. I may or may not, I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know if it's going to fill the hole or leave the hole. But if my thought is this, if I have color coverage, okay, over the dents, and you can't see the wood through the cracks, and you can't really see the cracks, I could come over it with actual UV resin, possibly CA glue or something, and something kind of sandable if it ends up being too thick. I think however this ends up, it's going to be okay with me though, truthfully. This is just really an experiment. I was watching Mike today, Two-Bike Mike, and he was having a really hard time with the guitar. I mean, he must have shimmed the neck 5 or 6 times. So Harley Benton he was working on, and just about got it done, but in the process of making that vid, he talked about his buddy in Texas, me, he's talking about, saying that I script things, and he doesn't know how you script things when bad things can happen when you're working on a guitar. And I said, dude, nothing I do is scripted, man. This is all my mistakes are made in real time. All that to say, guys, I don't know if this is going to work or not, man. I really don't know. But it's a fun exercise, if nothing else. Put it in the comments, man. You think this will work or not? It'll be you won't see this for probably a week and a half, but if I ever have to do this again, and chances are I will, and I know Brant's got a guitar with a dent in it, and he needs to figure out how to do something with. I don't know if it's helpful or not, Brant. I think it has something to do with the finish of the guitar, Brant, and as to what you would use. I read a couple things online that scared me away from doing the damp towel with the iron and soldering iron. Something about ruining finishes and that kind of stuff. And anyway, it just put enough fear in me. I know that RJ over at RJ's Cave recommended iron in a damp cloth, and some other people have as well. Man, I just appreciate everybody's comments, everybody who's on this journey with me. I guess we're going to see what happens and see what we can get done here. Well, everybody, from the That Didn't Work files, yeah, I scraped it all off as much as I could get. This one up here doesn't look half bad. It's just that the color isn't exactly right. Not that I care too much about that, but you can just tell that looks pretty bad. You know, I think if I had the exact color, a better color, a lighter color, maybe that would have been okay. So I'm going to mark that up as a failed attempt at what we're doing here. So I've got a couple options. One option is I could just put a little bit of UV resin right there and fill this little hole up over here and put a thin layer over this. Or I could let it ride the way it is, you know, which it's not horrible, but I just don't want the paint to chip anymore. I say that like I'm keeping the guitar. As far as I know, I'll keep it around the shop for a while, but I just don't want it to do any more damage to it. I'm sure I'm taking some paint off. I'm just trying to get back down to the cracks, you know. But yeah, that color was close, man. It was so close, but it's not exactly right. I don't know, can you tell? Can you see that? Can I get you in here a little bit more? Let's see. Yeah, it's just ugly. Super ugly. And that's okay. I mean, you know, it's my first attempt, so I do think that the fingernail polish in general is not a bad way to go, except that I just didn't have the right color. It created layer upon layer, and I had this band-aid looking thing. Had a big hump over here. I mean, it really did build up. But it just wasn't the right shade. So I'll probably go back and look at the vid and where it was a big wide strip with a hump in it and go, dude, you should have left it. It looked all right. But yeah, I just don't think it's the right color. So back to the drawing board on this deal. Wish I had better news, man. Well, in the spirit of experimentation, I'm going to throw a little UV resin in there. See what happens. By the way, don't use a Q-tip when you do this. Let it not be said, my friends, we didn't give it the old college try. So yeah, as projects go, great learning experience. Not a fantastic outcome, although really, truthfully, I can live with it. There may be some suggestions that you guys have. It will be a while before I see them because this video won't post for about a week or so. But when you see the carnage that is me attempting to use fingernail polish to do this, you will have ample opportunity to offer your suggestions. At this moment in time, I am feeling my dear brother TR at Wicked Fester Band's option 3. Leave them alone. Do nothing to it. So yeah, I think with the combination of the fingernail polish, the UV light, the UV resin, and the UV light polish, resin, light, you know, all the things. At least I know that those cracks are not going to get any worse. Is it ugly? Yeah, it's ugly. Two things. One, it's the back of the guitar, and two, she's a beater and I don't care. Look, guys, I don't know what you think about this. If I sound a little weird, it's just I'm a little bit under the weather today. I am not discouraged. I am not upset. This is what happens when we experiment. The channel is all about my journey with guitars and life, and this has been a great journey, a great learning journey. So yeah, man, feel free to put it in the comments what you think. You know, all things being equal, if I had the exact shade, I think I'd be happy. It's just that this is just a little bit kind of darker. Not quite the dark. I don't know. It goes on looking pretty good, and then when it dries, it gets kind of a little bit off color. But anyway, guys, that's the update. That's where we are. So the question remains, I guess, can you fill dents in the guitar with fingernail polish? I believe that you can. It did layer up. You can tell I've got a little bit of a hump here. That means you can layer the nail polish just like CA glue or any other kind of layering product. When it cures, you know, it'll fill in holes, is what I'm saying. And if this were a better shade, I would be super happy. But because we're off a little on the color, I think I can hang with it. I think I can deal with it. Some of that is just the lighting. See, without the light, you can kind of tell that it matches all right. But you see how it's just kind of pale here compared to, and then the light just magnifies all the scratches and all the dings and all the dents and all the things. Hey, I think that rhymed. Maybe there's an old country song in there. Who knows, guys? Washburn project, cosmetics? Nah, maybe not. Thanks for hanging out, man. It's been a blast. I hope you had a blast watching the carnage. Well, as always, wherever you are in your guitar journey, I pray it's a long, smooth, safe, joy-filled ride for you, Jack. Rock on with your bad selves, everybody. We'll catch you down the road.